Okay, before we get started, there is a tradition at Think.Make.Start. It's a chant, and it goes like this. One person says, think, make, and the rest of the room says, okay, that was pretty quick. We can try that again. Think, make.
Think, make, start!
Good. Okay, I would like to officially welcome you to the demo day of Think.Make.Start Batch 18. My name is Ian, the current project lead for the format. And yeah, it's really great to be here with all of you here today. I see a lot of familiar faces, which is pretty cool, but also a lot of fresh ones. For those who are not exactly sure what they signed up for, yeah, that. So what is Think.Make.Start? It's a product development teaching format that takes place over the 2 weeks. And basically the students learn a lot about product development in the process. And it's based on the principles of the following. First is cross-functional collaboration, because we truly believe that you need interdisciplinary teams in order to solve the increasingly challenging problems in the world. We also look at user-centric design. Everything that we develop as products has the user or the customer in focus. And how do we know about these users? We also want to use data-driven development. And what that means is not only big data tables, but also getting real user feedback, interviewing these users in Marienplatz, Garching, airport, wherever you can find them. And all of these knowledge is then distilled into the prototypes that the students build. Different prototypes for different functions, and then different iterations of these prototypes, and they learn from each and every single one. And since all of these happen within 2 weeks, we need really good project management to stay on time, to make sure that every day you're working towards the right goal, the right milestones. But productivity aside, it's also about fun and networking. I mean, I have fun, at least, teaching the course, but for, I think, the TUM students, it's also a very unique opportunity to come together in a very, in a physical environment, work on the real world problem, and be able to network with other motivated students. And to show, to kind of continue in this same lane of product development, we also have really good examples of what this can create. We have Beautechful, that is developing personalized solutions to transform the cosmetics industry. We had Tinus, who help people sleep, which I hope doesn't happen during our pitches. But we also hear that they're going to make a comeback next year. And then also Anza, with their autonomous trash picking robot that helps transform our urban living spaces, but is also much more with Kevazo, Hawadawa, Ceresci, Brinamics, many innovative products that pitch on this exact stage. And how today looks like, we want to give you a brief glimpse into what today looks like with the trailer. Hope you enjoy.
Hello. Okay, so this was a short glimpse about what awaits you today. And for this batch 18, we want to give you a glimpse overview because we actually had 186 applicants this year. And only 50 of those are here today because those were the chosen ones with the best skills, the most hands-on prototyping, and we're really proud of what you did in these 2 weeks. We have 10 teams in total, and The agenda for this afternoon is that we will have 2 rounds of pitching. So in the first round, we'll hear the first 5 pitches, then we'll have a short 10 minutes break. Then the other 5 teams will pitch their ideas. After that, you guys will actually have the opportunity to see all the prototypes at our prototyping fair outside. And you can actually also vote for the best idea in terms of Think prize, but we'll come back to that later. In the end, we will have our award ceremony with our beautiful jury here in the front. And speaking of the jury, let me quickly introduce them to you. So we have Professor Rebecca Preller, Professor Markus Zimmermann, Johannes Weicher, Alice Steinhausen und Philipp Dörner. And before I say anything wrong, and so that you can get to know them a little bit better, I would ask you to actually maybe say something about yourself, and you have like 30 seconds each. That would be really awesome.
Okay. I'm Johannes Weicher from the Makerspace. All of you participants of TMS, you know what Makerspace is. It's right next door. It's where all the awesome building happens. If you see lots of wood products, lots of laser cuts, lots of 3D prints, all of that happened right next door in the open workshop of Makerspace.
Hello, my name is Markus Zimmermann. I'm head of the Laboratory for Product Development and Lightweight Design. So by the name you can tell, we are responsible for theory of this class and organization. And concerning theory, I'm still trying to figure out how you can release so much energy in this TMS class, which is so incredible. I'm very much looking forward to your presentations. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Preller. I'm a professor of entrepreneurial behavior at the University of Bayreuth, but I have been a postdoc here at the Area Institute and have been following TMS since batch 4, the first batch, several years ago. And it's always really exciting to see the pitches and then especially all the startups coming out of these pitches in the following weeks, months, and years. Thanks for having me.
Hello, my name is Alice Steinhausen. I'm from the Zeitler Forschungsstiftung. We are supporting Think.Make.Start, I think, now from the beginning. So I'm here for the 18th pitch. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here and see all your new pitches.
And my name is Philip. I'm one of the co-founders of Moshes. I am very lucky because I get paid to do what people do at Think.Make.Start for a living. And we basically do all of the things that you saw on the Think.Make.Start slide. We work with interdisciplinary teams. We do product development. We have a lot of cool tech that we work with every single day. And I'm also looking forward to what the teams have done since the midterms, because I think I'm the one who gets to actually see the progress since last week, which is very exciting.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now let's start right into the pitches. Just a quick overview again. So each team will actually have 3 minutes to present their pitches, and then we will cut them off hard. So we have a timer here in the front. You can also see, and whenever the 3 minutes are up, we start applauding, okay? After that, the teams will have to answer questions from our jury for another 3 minutes, and then they're done. And hopefully it was a success for everyone. So let me begin with Team 7, and I'm inviting them to stage now. Soll ich den geben?
Hello everyone, we're Care Compass and we enable nurses to actually take care of their patients. Today, I want you to meet Erica. She became a nurse to help people. But unfortunately, this is the sad reality of her job. She has to take care of way too many patients and they may all need her at the same time. So I want to ask you, who would you help first? It's a tough decision, and even when Erica does go to a patient, the inefficiencies continue because she has to first figure out what the patient wants, for example, pain medication, then go to the storage to get it and bring it back. Just like Erica, 14 of the 17 nurses we talked to says that this takes way too much time out of their day, and it's no surprise that therefore 73% of care personnel in Germany regularly have to work overtime. To address this, we are incredibly proud today to present Care Compass.
Our device has two components, one bedside terminal and one nurse station. When a patient wants to ask a question about orientation, about pain, about drinks, schedule, or just wants to talk to a nurse, he can use our device. Our device handles some requests by itself.
Where is the hospital cafeteria?
Exit the room to the right, go to the elevator, and take it to the ground floor. The cafeteria will be right in front of you.
For some requests, a human nurse is still needed. For example, if the patient is in pain and he requires medication, then he needs to press the pain button, and our device will signalize the nurse that she needs to bring medication by changing the patient's room into the appropriate color.
Looking what's currently out there on the market, there's on the one hand side the super simple button with just a single functionality, and on the other hand a few competitors with very over-engineered solutions that lack acceptance, especially with the older patients. And we want to position exactly providing high functionality as well as ease of use. We want to address the hospitals directly with a one-time fee for the initial order, as well as a recurring fee for service and maintenance. The market size is tremendous for the care sector, but in the very first place, we just want to address private clinics in Germany, adding up to 58 million. This is the team behind Care Compass. We are very diverse with tech and startup backgrounds and want to make it a success. So patient care of tomorrow starts today. We all might not be patients today, but we might be tomorrow. So join us in the journey to make a change and see you at the booth. Thank you. Any questions?
Does it work? Can you hear me? Yeah. Yes. How exactly do you want to increase usability compared to these existing involved solutions? This part I didn't get.
Well, we actually did some research, for example, in Klinikum Großhadern, where at one private ward they are currently testing already the one competitor, I'd say, in Germany, and this is all tablet-based, so it's a tablet you actually put next to your bed, and there we had talks and several interviews with the nurses, and they all told us that especially older patients coming to the clinics, they are not used to interact with tablets. So that's why we took their feedback and tried to make it as simple as possible by interacting like only with a few buttons, which is clear with everyone, and not like rely too much on touchscreen and technology.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. What would be the investment a hospital needs to put into your product? So you need a hardware, you need a training probably, you need to get all the specific information on it?
Yes, exactly. So if we could go to the appendix slide, please. As we said, like in the very first place, the initial fee, we can also do with that. We would have one for that. But in the very first place, we have like an implementation fee. We want to do that one per ward actually, because that's where the process is defined. At the moment, we approximate that for about $4,000 for the euros for the ward implementations. as well as the individualization of the buttons is also one feature we would offer for about 3,000 for the moment. And then we have like the initial fee, which is 300 euros per bed. But we did like the calculations in here, and we estimate that the hospitals can do a 10x return on their investment with us by just saving working time for nurses, like this, saving money, and obviously also having non-monetary values like patient satisfaction and health benefits.
Question, does that still depend on the nurse being available and looking at the screen to see that patient needs that, and if the nurse is actually busy with like handing out water, she misses the pain button?
Well, what we actually planned on, especially during the night shifts, it's always, we got the feedback there's often only one nurse per like maybe 3 wards. So we plan to have like an interactive device. It could be an application on your smartphone, or it could be on a tablet, which they can always move to one ward to the other, where they can basically in real time see just the screen we showed, in real time see which kind of color codes pops up and how urgent it is to go there, if it's just a request for water or if it's really about having pain, having a like emergency if they run there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I guess it's always the most difficult to be the first team, but I think you did a really good job. Maybe we only need some new product development with our presenters and clickers because they don't seem to work 100% reliable, but maybe that will get better during the pitches. Next up, we will actually have Team 3 with a very cool idea. So please welcome them.
Okay, welcome everybody. We're Freezy and we're revolutionizing the freezing monitoring system. Right now, one supermarket pays around 200,000 euros per year for electricity. 50% of this is because of the cooling systems. Moreover, 10% of this is because people come, leave the door open, and it can stay there for minutes or even hours. Other problems are efficiency loss over time, for example, because of damages with the seal, as well as health loss of the freezer. All of this contributes to climate change, of course.
But there's a solution to that, and the solution is called Freezy. Let's consider Roberto, for example. He's a typical German supermarket manager, and he knows that the cooling system consumes a lot of energy, so he decided to get a proper monitoring system. But all the existing solutions out there required him to replace all his freezers with new devices, which was too expensive for him. And that's why he decided to use Freezy. With our easy-to-install wall box and the wireless door sensor, he was able to retrofit all the freezers in the supermarket. And now he has every freezer in a single dashboard and can monitor them. The system has a smart algorithm that will tell him when the energy consumption is abnormally high and will then warn him that the door ceilings have to be replaced. it will also tell him when people leave the doors open so he can close it. So with our solution, he now saves 15,000 euros annually in electricity costs. If we consider a supermarket chain, they have 11,000 stores all across Germany, and they could annually save 165 million yearly.
Now let's talk about the business model. We would sell a one-time sensor for each fridge, which costs around 45 euros, as well as an annual fee for each supermarket, which would cost around 1,000 euros. With this, we would attack the 3,000 cooling units that Germany has, and Freezy would have a revenue of 313 million per year. Of course, we need a very good team for doing this. So Freezy team, we are international and interdisciplinary group of people that have worked in a lot of areas. So please contact us, join our journey to revolutionize the freezing monitoring system, and of course, bleib cool.
Thank you very much. I have one question regarding the overall concept. So if I understand correctly, your system is about monitoring. It would detect whether something is wrong. However, who would take action to fix it? Would that require an extra employee of the supermarket, or is that part of your model, of your business plan?
So changing the door sealings is actually a task they already do, but they do it like yearly. And our research has shown that, so we read a paper, there was it about, what is it called? Huh? I forgot, like catering, sorry. And they said, okay, that because the doors are open so often, every 3 months they have to be replaced. So in supermarkets, it should be similar, but we want to actually notify them when this happens and when the ceiling is damaged and when it should be replaced. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
How do you different from the competitors in the market? Because there's like Shelly, for example, doing direct power monitoring with a dashboard already, with like no more costs and no more cloud costs, for example.
We did check the competitors, and this is basically 2 devices, not just one. So it also detects the door sensor as well. And firstly, it is all incorporated in the new fridges, but this is basically our Freezy device can be set up in pre-existing devices, pre-existing refrigerators as well. So that's how we stand out from our competitors.
Thank you very much. Can you explain a bit more about your business model, to how you want to earn money?
So basically, our solution is the retrofitting. So we are going to be using the existing fridges in supermarkets and installing these sensors that are capable with also with the freezers and fridges. So this sensor itself, the hardware, around 45 euros, roughly estimated. And then to have additional analytics and also the energy consumption and everything, there will be yearly package with technical support that's roughly now estimated at 1,000 euros per year.
Okay, thank you very much, Team 3. And I think it's a very cool solution. Everyone can definitely relate to the problem with fridges or freezers staying open. Next up, we have Team 6. Team 6 is, again, about healthcare, but I don't want to say too much. But what I can tell is that all of our teams actually did a lot of interviews, and they all went out. We had a couple of teams actually going directly to the hospitals, talking to nurses, talking to doctors, and so on. So you can believe that all the ideas we have are actually validated, which is really great, I think. So welcome, Team 6.
Hello everyone, we are Team Scan Solutions, and today we want to present to you our very first product, MediScan Check. Paramedics have a very demanding work and experience intensive situations every day. They work long 12-hour shifts and often have high stress levels due to what they experience and the amount of work they face. On top of that, they have the required administrative work they have to do puts an unnecessary burden on them. Look at our two paramedics, Jonathan and Peter here. They just finished their long and busy 12-hour shift with multiple emergencies. They have to hand over the vehicle within a few minutes to the next shift and have to make sure that all the items they used throughout their missions are being replenished. By this, they're checking off the lists manually, and this process can be quite stressful, especially when time is running low. Making a mistake here could have severe implications for the following shift. If you don't have an item you need, you might risk a life. That's why we have developed MediScan Check, the easy, real-time inventory check of crucial equipment within the ambulance itself, which makes manual checklists redundant, increases overall processing times, and thus provides a relief to the paramedics on their stress. As you can see now, with our solution, the paramedics can see immediately that with the red light that an item is missing, and the tablet shows directly which item it is, and also if an item is about to expire. Now the paramedic can simply grab the product that needs to be replaced, put it inside the bag, and it will tell immediately that the inventory is back to the status quo. Our solution works with proven RFID technology, and all information are being sent to a handheld device, providing real-time insights at all time. The market for this technology is now. The EU is pushing for regulation that requires unique digital identifiers in all medical equipment, as well as the private sector is working already on a global RFID standard for medical equipment and or in the medical industry in general. That's why by just equipping every fifth ambulance in Europe with our technology, we could realize a market potential of up to 70 million euros per year. For our business, we follow a three-pronged approach. We sell our hardware directly to ambulance manufacturers as well as medical wholesalers. Our hardware comes together with our software solution that you could have seen on the tablet, which comes on a subscription model. In addition, we license our technology to medical packaging firms to establish our technology right into the medical packaging to make our technology the industry standard. We are the team behind MediScan Check, and we are here on a mission to make the life of paramedics better and simpler. Come check us out at our booth and help us turn our MVP into the industry standard solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Could you explain a little bit more how do you scan each product inside, and is there a barcode or something, or how do you do it?
So the technology we use is RFID, which stands for radio frequency identification. Inside our scan box, we have an RFID scanner, and each item is equipped with a passive RFID tag. This tag does not need to be powered, so there's no battery or anything attached. You can simply put the RFID tag on the item, and the scanner will automatically track it.
A follow-up question on that. Thank you very much for your nice presentation. How many of those chips would you need, and how do you make sure that they are in their right location?
So a typical medical backpack has between 200 and 300 items. So that's how many of these tags would be needed. Placement within the bag isn't as important. if we have a scanner that is potent enough to scan the whole bag, which our prototype scanner is not specifically made for this purpose, but there are scanners out there that can do this without a problem.
Is there any problem with interference with that many RFID tags close to each other and the scanner that has to go through the whole thing?
So there's better scanners with anti-collision, and tags are only spoken to once and then they stay silent, which makes our scanning more reliable. Of course, if we would put 1,000 tags stacked right on top of each other, there would be problems. But in a bag, the items are spread out, so that shouldn't be a problem.
And one more quick question. Is there any difference in these items between like one-time usable that get thrown out and maybe bags of things that get opened and then the whole bag needs to be replaced? So is there any issue like where you can't just replace a certain item, but you have to worry about maybe the whole bag of something getting replaced?
Theoretically, as of now, yes, but this RFID technology can be implemented on even the smallest scale. There are shops already who use RFID in every single product they use, such as Decathlon, and yeah, for our purposes, it's all single-use items, and each item comes with its own tag. So we tag it on the item level.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Team 6. I think it's also really great how all the teams till now actually made it right to the 3 minutes they had. I think there was no team that took more time. And that's actually because we were practicing our pitches since yesterday. So I guess all of the pitches you hear today were at least practiced for 5 to 6 times so that they're really on point. And it's not that easy, because if you're actually talking to the microphone like this, no one will hear you. So it's really important to also learn how to speak on stage. And next up, we have Team 1. So please welcome them.
Good afternoon, and I'm really glad to see you now in our demo room. So probably you came here today with the help with Google Map. However, let's now imagine to come here with your eyes closed. Is this still an easy task? I don't think so. We are Team VView. We want to solve this problem with our smart glasses. Those are the situations we are facing every day. However, replaying a new road is not a such big deal for us. But for people with visual impairment, they have to constantly dealing with and struggling with those scenarios. We want to solve this problem and give this problem a solution with our smart glasses and make every individual feel equal in the society.
What makes our glasses really special are the sensors. We have a wide-angle camera, we have time-of-flight sensors, and we also use Raspberry Pi and haptic feedback for inference and response. How does it work? The wide-angle camera in front is used to derive inference of the objects, classify it. The time-of-flight sensors are used to determine the distance from the object. We use the Raspberry Pi and machine learning models to determine the inference and to get an inference, and we send that data back to the haptic feedback, to the haptic sensors, which provide a feedback to the users. Just to give a small demo, as you could see, as the person comes near to an object, in this case another person, the haptic sensors on the left start glowing a little. In this case, there's an LED attached for our viewers to see, and that is how we provide the inference and response to the users. Yeah. We decided to start looking into such a problem because we realized that there are close to 39 million people all over the world that are visually impaired. Now, this also includes the number of blind people. We further realized that there are close to 2.7 million people just in Germany that are also visually impaired. We estimated that there are close to the market size to be close to 100 million euros, which is also tells us about the dearth of such objects in the market. We would like to spread awareness of our product via events and partnerships. In this case, we would like to focus on events like the World Braille Day and medical conferences. We would also like to partner with a lot of government and private organizations and maybe the clinics and insurance companies to spread awareness.
Yes, and we are a multicultural team, but with a common goal, which is to solve social issues. So please come to our booth and try our devices to unlock your sixth sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Did you check if there are similar products available already?
Yes, we did a market study and we saw that we also conducted interviews. So we tried to understand why were they not using it. So there were a lot of issues to look into. Firstly, it was really expensive. 3,000 euros for something like that which is something that all the users cannot afford. And also there were a few features that the users found very irritating, like the audio feedback, and sometimes they were very not accurate at all. So, I mean, such factors we believe were also out there while comparing or looking into our product.
And do you have a particular ingredient that would remedy that?
Oh yes, that's why we want to focus on the haptic feedback in this case.
Okay. Also, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. How would your business model look like? So if you go for the market size in Germany, then you could probably just sell it at a reasonable price. But if you look globally, how would you go about that?
As a startup, we will only first enter German market. And after the development in Germany inside, after finish the domestic market, we will want to also develop a bigger market. And I think in an international platform, you have also a bigger target group and more chances.
Short follow-on question. Do you have any idea about the price tag yet? It sounds like a complex technology.
Yes,
which is
we
data
have
intensive.
Yes, a price about 400. And this calculation is based on the net margin for healthcare product, and also the taxes, the insurance, and so also the material cost.
Can you explain a little bit how much your prototype actually does and how far you went with it? Because I imagine that it doesn't currently work, with wide-angle camera and time of flight and the whole thing that you described, or is it fully complete and works?
The time-of-flight sensors and the camera algorithms and the determination inference are complete, so they work. They are fully functional. Haptic feedbacks are on the MVP stage, so like the haptic feedbacks work. But then for an indication, we also provided LEDs for the presentation concepts. But then, but that is the point. But we are the technology is kind of mature enough to work on a scalable platform.
Right, and that platform is a Raspberry Pi, right, that you want to have on the device?
Yeah, the point is to have it on a Raspberry Pi, making sure that it's actually an edge device, not relying on the cloud or any other offloaded service.
And all those things that you said that worked on that device?
Right now, partially, yes.
Thank you very much, team. So, as you can imagine, not all of these ideas were actually there on the very first day when Think.Make.Start had started, because it was a lot of iteration. We had many, many, many great ideas, but many of the ideas also turned out to be not as great as we thought initially. So we also had a lot of pivoting during these days. But one of the teams that actually had this idea from kind of the beginning on is coming up to stage now. So please welcome Team 8.
Here,
you can see Dr. Smith. He's trying to explain the complication to his patient.
I'm sorry to tell you, but your eye has an astigmatism, which is caused by an irregular curvature in your cornea.
I don't understand anything from what you said. Can you please explain a bit more clearly?
The problem? Easy communication between doctors and their patients. One could use 3D models, but it's very hard to navigate for doctors as well as patients. Here, Navicat comes into play. Our orienter is now presented.
Could you please switch to live demo? Thank you. So, the orienter is a very simple device. It basically lets the doctor show the patient exactly where the problem lies in the 3D model. Using the orienter couldn't be much simpler. Just rotate it and the model follows accordingly. With pressing the button on top, different layers of information can be visualized. Like this, the patient actually understands what the doctor is talking about. And in fact, using the orienter is so simple, even the patient himself can use it intuitively.
No, yeah. Ach so, now I understand.
So the benefit of the orienter for the doctor lies in the time saving and of course less cognitive load, as well as a happy patient. At the heart of the orienter lies what we call the core. The core measures its orientation and sends it directly to the device displaying the 3D model. Thanks to the small form factor, you can see it here, we can put the core into different shells, which then can be specifically adapted to various applications.
While being applicable to many other use cases, let's talk medical. Due to doing a lot of interviews, we figured out that the need in the medical sector for smooth and easy communication is highest. This even results in a letter of intent by Dr. Hakim Manur. Our next steps are finalizing our already working MVP and bringing it to our pilot customers such as Dr. Manur. After targeting this point, we will go into further other use cases and industries. Our team from Navicat will revolutionize moving in digital three-dimensional spaces. If you want to try it out yourself, feel free to meet us in our booth. I promise you, it's easy as picking up the real thing.
Thank you very much. Question, how does it differentiate from a traditional 3D mouse?
So that is a very good question. We have also this slide to show you that. So basically, there's a graph that on the one side, we have super simple devices that everybody has at home, like the normal mouse, which is a 2D device to have a 3D input in our case. And on the other side, you have a 3D mouse with maybe some of you have used. If you didn't, on our booth we have one, so we can compare it to our product. And it is super precise and super difficult to use it, and definitely not intuitive. You need like at least a week to try it out, to actually know how to use it. So the patient would never be capable of using it first try.
So when you talk about the price, what is your pricing?
Well, actually, as you can see, we're positioned right in the middle. So if you think about like the 2D devices, you get them starting at 30 to open end basically. And when we talk about the 3D mouse or space mouse, this is like average $500. So of course there are cheaper ones, but if you want to have a high qualitative one. So we settle between 140 and 180 euros. But of course, we do upselling, so as my colleague said, the shell is customizable. This will have a high price point.
Thank you. I have one question. So I understand this is a kind of a navigation system, but it would still require a model. yeah, that you can navigate through. Among those potential customers that you looked at, who of them have models lying around that you could readily use for that?
So in fact, there are actually a lot of very, very detailed, especially medical models out there, which students, for example, use to study the anatomy. However, right now, the patient is explained by reading a paper with maybe some sketches, or the doctor just draws a crude sketch on paper. So the models are available, you just need to make them accessible.
Thank you.
How would you convince hospitals, for example, to buy it?
Well, at first we target a very small niche market to establish our brand. So basically what follows after is word of mouth spreading. So that's it.
Maybe just to add on the answer of Karina, for the hospital, so we explain a lot that this tool is helping the well-being of the patient and creating the trust between the patient and the doctor. So for hospital, I think it will just increase or improve the well-being and the relationship that they have between doctor and patients.
Thank you very much. So this is already our 5th pitch. So we will have a short 10-minute break now. You can go to the toilet, get some fresh air, and we'll please be back at 3 p.m. sharp.
Okay, thank you, Ian. And let's already continue with team 2.
The 3 of us met 2 weeks ago, and after spending a lot of time together the last 2 weeks, I would consider us a social group. Sadly, Caro is on the other side of the stage and cannot join us because of this gap. A gap you often oversee, but is very, very common in public infrastructure, mainly in public transport. And Caro is not the only one with the problem. Over 1.6 million wheelchair users in Germany are daily confronted by the same problem. So we don't want a social barrier between Caro and us. So let's see what options we have to get Caro to our side. So does any one of you have a ramp with them? Probably not, right? Shit. So Caro is also a very, very poor student, and she can't afford a very, very fancy, high-tech wheelchair. So this is also not an option. And carrying Caro over this gap? Let's try another solution first. Let me introduce you to Unwheel.
So if you face an obstacle like this gap, just flip around the wheelchair so that you can drive in backward direction. And then just drive with the wheelchair above the gap, and you see, Caro will be soon on our side of the stage. And if you have finished this, just flip around again, and you can reattach the ramp to the wheelchair. And how we see, Caro is on our side of the stage. This solution has many advantages. The first advantage is that this ramp can be attached easily to every wheelchair, whether it's electric or not. The second advantage is that you can not only overcome gaps, you can overcome steps as well. And the last advantage is that you don't need any assistant or support person who helps you with this ramp. This solution, all in one, is affordable for 399 euros. And our market entry would be to sell it directly to the wheelchair users. After that, we'd aim the B2B market by making some structures with retail stores and some selective agreements with insurance companies. All in this together, we are aiming a short-term market of 32 million euros in Germany only.
Delivering the value of independence to as many wheelchair users as possible is a vision that brings all of us as a team together. Caro, thankfully, is also able to cross gaps and steps in public infrastructure without the wheelchair, but over 1% of the global population is not. So help us break down those barriers and join us, and let's break down the social barriers, guys.
Thank you very much for the presentation, but how does she pick it up now?
So for the mechanism, right now we're using a purely mechanical solution, which we're happy to show you at the booth. Would have taken too long to show it here, so we show it to you at the booth.
So it's a purely mechanical solution, if I understand correctly. So I wonder, the price seems quite steep, considering that it's 400 euros. Did you check how to offer it cheaper, like a nice, cheap, clever solution with lightweight potentially, and go for half the price?
Yes, of course. So this is our prototype right now. We're trying to implement some electric solution as well, like with a motor that actually picks up the ramp by itself, so it's less effort for the wheelchair user themselves. So that's why we're coming up with this price. Also, the cool thing about this ramp, it's made out of composite, so it's very, very lightweight compared to all of the metal and aluminum ramps, which also then leads to higher costs.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you have the ramp at the back of the wheelchair, typically wheelchair users have bags there, people are kind of assisting them. How does it work if the ramp is up there?
So our solution aims to people being able to use their hands. So like we want to make them independent of a second person to help them. Nevertheless, we still have the handles that are like usable also with a chair, like with a ramp.
And if you're targeting like the more mobile persons who oftentimes also use a car and then need to get a wheelchair on their own into the car, how does it work if I have the additional ramp to store in the car?
So the ramp is possible to deploy the ramp, so to store them separately. So it's not like one big thing, but you can like store them modularly.
Okay, and it works with the assistance that you typically have then installed in your car to kind of get it in.
Sorry?
So typically you have these kind of mechanisms then in the back of your car that kind of automatically pulls the wheelchair, for example, on the back seat, and that would also work with the ramp. Okay.
With the ramp, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I think in this example, the wheelchair is foldable, right? Like it's supposed to, I think, fold flat, so it's easier to move around. I don't think that works with your current prototype, right?
That's actually true, yes.
Okay.
But
the big aluminum bar at the top gave it away. But do you have plans on how you might fix that? Like, could there be a version for this price that works with foldable wheelchairs too?
So yeah, as you correctly pointed out, this wheelchair is actually foldable. I mean, you can remove the screws in here. It is right now not a very time-efficient solution to deploy all the things. Yeah, so this is a point that you can still work on, for sure.
Thank you, Team 2. Maybe let's get the barrier back together again. And now I'm happy to welcome Team 10 on stage.
Dear guests and participants,
smart and sustainable. It is based on a dual revenue stream. Our first customer are the organizers. They pay us for renting out the wristbands to them and also for the data. Our second target group would be the exhibitors. They also pay us for the data to get these insights to improve on their event strategies. If we look at our competition, we see traditional methods like business cards. And even though they're easy to use, they're also easy to lose. And furthermore, they don't offer any valuable data to the organizers. On the tech side, we see Sendrato. They're a startup, but their main focus lies on events like festivals and cashless payment. On this slide, you can see that our market potential is quite huge. But just focusing on Munich, we see that there are 2.5 million conference attendees in Munich. And if we say, okay, not every event is about networking, let's stick with a conservative number like 10%, we still end up at a market value of 2.5 million euros. Yeah. Just Connect. Please come to our booth and Just Connect with us.
All right, first question is, you have these nice use cases for the people running the show, running the events, but I think that maybe you then have to ask the people for permission if they want to give their data away like that, right? Like they have to actually opt into that, I think, with GDPR and all of that. Did you think about that?
Yeah, our application right now even allows you to opt out of that. But if you opt out of that, you don't get any of the benefits. For example, you could later on get like contextualized contacts. I met this person at this time here, and he shared his LinkedIn and like GitHub profile, whatever, with me. And it was a very nice connection, so I know where it happened. So all of those benefits are like a trade-in. If you want to share your data, you get our benefits.
All right, sounds good.
So if I understand correctly, you would need an extra device for it, right? I mean, it's not that you can do it using your cell phone, just with some...
So basically you have the smart wristband here on your wrist, and the communication works as follows. You fill in your digital business card in the application, you send it to your personal wristband, and then by a handshake, the exchange of digital business cards, so I get a digital business card as a person of interest, and they get mine. So basically, two-way communication through this wristbands via Bluetooth.
Just one follow-up question. So if I'm in a situation where kind of everybody agreed to exchange that information, but then I bump into a person where I realize, oh no, I don't want. How can I manage that?
So we can implement easy like touch buttons that you, for example, disable this technology, or for example, you can later in the app just, for example, do not approve sharing your contacts with this person. Yeah, there are multiple ways to avoid confusing situations like this one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's assume I go on a conference and then have all these kind of contact info in your application, right? Is it can I export that information to Outlook or any other kind?
Yeah, it's easily synchronizable with your OS, so you could simply make it a contact in iOS, and you could also export it. You could just click on the LinkedIn and go to LinkedIn if that's all you're interested in, so it's very easily integratable. And it's also contextualized, so you know where it happened and when.
So it's likely that you have a lot of customers only using your application for like the one conference they attend in a year. Have you thought about extending that and kind of making kind of an extra benefit on keeping in touch with these customers so that they have their contact information in your app, making use of that, have a premium access, whatever, to kind of get money from them?
I think we're in the first stage where we're trying to get like the killer feature out, and then of course we thought about a lot of things. Gamification is also an option that we thought about, but I think that's stage 2 and stage 3.
Okay. Yeah, it's often a good idea to start with a key feature. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Just Connect. Maybe this is the future when we will meet again next semester. And now, let's welcome Team 9 on stage.
So, what can you do in 3 minutes? 3 minutes is a lot of time. And this time can be used to do a lot of things. For example, you can brush and brush your teeth perfectly in 90 minutes. You can cook 3 pizzas, do 90 squats, do a lot of things. Or you can just fix unbroken screw. Yes, because many construction workers need to do it every time they open a construction site. In a process that looks like this. This is our friend Jonas, and he's basically operating with arc-deep galvanized screws. So basically what he's trying to do is checking the screw by plugging the nut, and then apply a gentle pressure when it doesn't go any further, and then repeat the process all over again for all the screws you have. So basically, this is a huge problem because it must be done beforehand, because if don't checked, it could be very dangerous for the integrity of the whole structure. But talking about numbers, we have almost 500 screws every time we open a construction site, and that leads a loss of 25 hours every time. So that's why we, at Screwwork, we developed this marvelous machine. Basically, it gets an input, the screw, then it drills automatically inside the nut, and then a solenoid will hit the nut to prevent it from clogging. So this is how it works. Screw in. This thing you're listening to is the solenoid hitting the nut. Then, when the screw is checked and the thread is completely clear, it will spit automatically the screw without any kind of imperfection. And there you have it. Perfectly clean threads in the screw. So technically, it's marvelous. But what about the business side?
So we are not targeting construction companies. We are targeting the companies that are responsible for the quality of the screws. For example, screw manufacturers and galvanizing plants. We managed to gain first interest as a pilot to work as a pilot candidate from the company as a galvanizing plant, Bachhofer. And looking at the market size, we identified a market size of 200 million euros for the German market of hot-dipped galvanized screw manufacturing. As business model, we had a price structure that is consisting of 2 components. First of all, we charge a reduced sales price of the initial payment, and the second component, we charge a royalty. That means that for every processed screw through our machine, we're getting revenue back. Looking at the product roadmap, I want to emphasize that we want to get our first customer at the end of September, and starting in the next year, in 2025, in February, we want to get into mass production with our machine's core technology. With this team, we can make every screw work again. And
Thank you very much. Short question at the end. What do you expect how many time you need for one screw, for checking one screw, or for checking 10 or?
3 minutes.
For one?
Yeah, estimately. Like, we are checking many screws, and the bad ones that are taking 3 minutes, the good ones also need to be checked because they need to be clocked in properly into the construction site.
Okay.
So you're focusing on the screw manufacturers, but not on the construction side. So why can't you just use a lathe, like a Drehbank?
This really depends, because the different screws have to be set up with the lathe, and then some lathes are not capable to do this, and also you have to put in the screws and put them out again with the lathe, and therefore often you need a worker for this, and we want to replace the worker there.
But how do you put in the screw there?
This is currently our first prototype. We have some features at our booth later where we plan to automatically put out and put in new screws without manual labor. But in the short time we had, we couldn't do it right now.
I imagine that a plant that galvanizes screws has a lot of screws coming out of it per minute, right? Did you think about how many of your devices they would need to treat all of them?
For this, we first need to refactor our prototype, because currently we are running really slow for testing, and because we used a lot of wood. And later, when we have a metal one, we can push it to its limits, and then we can calculate how fast we are, and then we can give you an estimation how many of the machines you need for your screws.
Do you have a rough idea?
I think we can go with 3 to 5 per galvanizing plant.
Do you know how many screws come out of a galvanizing plant per hour?
No, but like it will not be implanted in galvanizing plants, but for the screw manufacturers.
Okay.
So basically, they send the screws in the galvanizing plant, and then they send it back. So and they are checked only in the screw manufacturer. So like the volume is way bigger in the galvanizing plant. But what we figured out by interviews is the screw manufacturer are more interested. So they don't have the volumes as the galvanizing plants.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
Very short last question. So do you want to sell the machines or do you want to rent them, to lease them? What's your idea to earn money?
We want to sell them, like 60 to 70% of the initial payment, and to get the rest of the money back, we want to make royalties for every screw that's being manufactured through our machine.
That's a nice idea.
Thank you so much. Let's continue with team 4, who are currently setting up. So maybe that's stuff that you can do in 3 minutes if you don't need to work on a screw. You can just pitch at TMS. So let's welcome team 4.
Shall we start? Okay. So last year, Robin was playing football every day. However, during an accident, he got his knee injured. Now he cannot play football anymore. He cannot play football anymore. He is trying so hard to recover those muscles again, but it's just so difficult. Now he feels sad and unmotivated. Just like Robin, we surveyed another knee-injured patients, and all of them agreed on something. 80% of them told us that they lack of motivation, and that's why they struggle to keep up and do all the exercise they need to do. So this is just like not a problem for Robin and these knee-injured patients. This is not a problem that they feel on their physical body, but also on their minds. This knee injury problem is now taking a toll on their minds. Now, let me introduce you to Flexin. Flexin is a medical wearable device that uses EMG sensor technology to track muscle strength progress recovery, all this by providing a gamifying experience. This gives the patient what they need, which is a boost of motivation. So, since the physiotherapists are also a key part of this recovery progress, we are offering them also an app. This app lets the physiotherapists track the progress of each patient, all this while providing valuable insights that can give them a data-driven recovery progress for their patients. Now we're gonna play How Then Look At with Robin. Okay, now we're gonna play How Then Look At with Robin. Will Robin be able to actually reach the green light? Let's watch out, please. Those cheers for Robin. Go,
Woo!
Robin! Woo!
Good job, Robin. Good job. Now, let's talk numbers. We're entering the market targeting knee injury patients that want to go back to sports. Therefore, our market share is estimated for 80 million euro in Germany, and we plan to expand to Europe and worldwide. Our business is B2B, which means we're selling the device to physiotherapists who will rent the device to patients or end users for a much cheaper price. Additionally, physiotherapists will gain an income for the monitoring labor for each patient. Now,
Entering the market is really easy right now because our competitors have not integrated a gamifying experience to boost motivation, neither considered the physiotherapists in this problem. Therefore, we are unique. Healing patients is thanks to our amazing team of tech engineers and business developers.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Have you thought about the difficulty to put that up as a medical product and not just as a sports product at the beginning?
Yes, of course. We're planning in our entry phase first to sell this B2B to physiotherapists, but of course conducting some clinical trials, for example, with students that want to pursue a doctor degree. So it will be like cost efficient, and we will gain the first medical evidence about this device, and then that will gain, of course, trust for the physios to buy the device and for the patients to use it.
But would a physiotherapist buy it if it's not medically licensed?
No, what we are doing, we need 2 licenses. The first one is this classification class 1, 2, or 3 to actually sell the device. So we are doing that to sell the device for the physios. And then we are massifying the product by entering into this EBM medical public insurance list. So actually we can massify and be covered by the public insurance. But definitely we will have this, we are class 1M.
Thank you. How universally applicable is your system? So you showed it with the leg muscle. Could I use it also for my, I don't know, biceps or whatever?
So this is generation 0 right now. It's only applicable for knee injuries, but we aim to have a universal device. So right now the patches are detachable, so you can also have it if you have a big arm, for example, use it on the arm, and place your pads accordingly. But we want a universal device in the future, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So why not marketing as kind of just equipment to get better and to gamify and etc. without a recovery aspect, so that you have much broader customer base and save yourself the pain with all the medical licensing, etc.
Because we realized there are competitors in that market because they don't need all these certifications, but we actually found this opportunity to massify the product to actually be more cheaper and be covered by the public insurance. So that's why we decided, even though it's a longer journey, at the end there is no competitor there and we can actually gain a lot of share there.
Do you maybe happen to know if any of the other competitors are following a similar path and are getting towards the point where they might be covered by public insurance and they're just not there yet? They're like in the early stages?
Well, most of the competitors actually they're focusing on this niche market, which is the athletes. So that's why we decided to focus on the amateur or regular person that has a knee injury. So that's we haven't.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now, last but not least, the 10th team, Team 5. Welcome on stage.
Oh, the air in here is so bad. Do you also notice it, or is it just me?
Yeah, you're right. It's really sticky in here. And I also, when I work from home, I always forget to open the window. And after some time, I really feel a headache and get tired without getting fresh air.
Yeah, it's the same for me. Recently, I even had issues with mold in my apartment. Did you know that every fifth household in Germany faces issues with mold? And after an hour without fresh air, your cognitive abilities will decrease by 21%. By then, the air reaches a critical CO2 level. With stress at work and mental load in your private life, you no longer want to deal with issues like these anymore. That's why we came up with WindFlow. WindFlow offers a solution that transforms every living space into a more comfortable and healthier place.
Let me introduce you to our prototype. But first, let me give you a little example. Now, this is Derek. Derek is a young professional who just started his first job. As he lives in a small rental apartment and works mostly from home, he is always really focused on his work and never realizes the decreasing air quality in his apartment. But now, with the new WindFlow solution, he never has to worry about it again, as fresh air is only one click away.
But there's more magic to it. He's not only able to open his window with a button, more importantly, he can integrate this solution into existing smart home ecosystems. Our sensors inside measure data like the CO2 level, humidity, and temperature. He's also able to check the status of his window remotely. And he's also able to close his window from wherever he is. Most importantly, as Derek lives in a rental space, he doesn't want to be stressed out by his landlord. Thanks to the beauty of a German industrial norm, the DIN, our product is suitable and retrofittable to every window in your apartment without permanent damage. Easy to install, easy to use.
Derek loves WindFlow. And let me tell you, Derek won't be the only one. The estimated market for Germany for smart windows is 325 million euros. With an annual growth of 9.15%, there's plenty of room for us to grow. We estimate a serviceable obtainable market of 12 million euros with a selling price of 210 euros. We are 4 individuals with different backgrounds, but we have one common goal: to transform every living space into a more healthier and comfortable one. Meet us at our booth. We will have a tombola and want to show you how you can improve your air circulation routine. Thank you.
And now we are open to your questions.
Can I stick my hand in it?
So yeah, so currently not, but future we plan to do in the future is to implement an overcurrent detection. So as soon as the motor needs too much force, the window stops working and you can stick your hand in it and it won't hurt you.
I don't know much about that sort of thing, but I think I know about leverage. So you have a lot of leverage with a window like that, right? And then you have an area that's pretty close to the motor and one that's pretty far away. Is it possible that maybe it becomes a safety hazard with big windows because you can't close them anymore if you detect overcurrent too soon?
Yeah, so this can be an issue. This needs to be tackled in the, let's say, you need to find the sweet spot. But in general, we don't need too much torque to close the window because it's generally quite easy. It gets harder with bigger windows, but yeah, it should be recognizable if the current is too high to detect if there's a hand inside the window.
All right. I'm sad I can't stick my hand in it yet.
Thank you. Have you tried other types of concepts? Now you're opening the whole thing, but I mean, did you, I don't know, try to holes in the glass or something like that? Have you tried other things? Or like the ceiling, that could be somehow modified?
The whole point of our system is that it's retrofittable without permanent damage. So there are solutions. You can drill a hole in your wall and stick a fan into it. Those solutions exist, but it's very expensive and your landlord probably won't be very happy. This solution you can just install in a few minutes and then later detach it and the window is in the same shape as before.
And one follow-up question. I mean, this is a prototype, of course, but it's, what would you expect? How small will you be able to make it finally?
Yeah, of course, now the mechanics is, it's a prototype, but we expect to shrink the box about half the size in every dimension.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much. Just from an airflow perspective, do I need it at like one window, all my windows? Would they open all like synced, or what would be good? Also thinking about heating costs, right? Because there always the recommendation is opening all the windows for like a short period of time, get fresh air in and then close them, rather than having it like a bit open all the time.
Yeah, obviously, if you buy one product, it will be for one window. When you buy more of our one-time purchase hardware product, you can sync your windows. You can also, in the long term, connect it to your heating system. So that's what we are like aiming for with the smart home integration, to really connect your air ventilation routine with your heating routine to save costs in the end.
This was a long run, 10 pitches, but now it's over. Not quite yet, but first I want to thank all the teams. All of you did really an amazing job here. Your pitches were great, your products are great. Thank you so much. And of course, I also want to thank the jury for the awesome questions, and sometimes the questions that maybe go a bit further into the details to let the people think, or the students think. So thank you to the jury. Okay, so with being here, like having a jury, of course, there's also prizes. Some of them decided by the jury. The first one is actually not. The first one is decided by all of you. So it's a public vote. You got dollars when you got in here. And there's a fair outside in just 20 minutes. And there you can decide which product, which team you think is the best. And you can give them the dollars. And we will count them. And in the end, this team will receive the Think prize for the best idea of this batch. Then the jury decides the first prize, the Make prize. It's basically decided for the best prototype, so what technically is convincing the most. And then, of course, there's the Start prize for the best business opportunity of this batch. Okay, so now, of course, the teams also prepared some videos to show you a bit more about what they did in the last 2 weeks. We will have them in a sequential order, just as the pitches. While the teams set up the fair for later. So enjoy.
Basically, work as a don't work as a nurse. Really, there's too many patients. We're completely understaffed. People are burning out left and right. I'm super exhausted, and see, I have to go again.
It seems like Care Campus can help you. It can solve easy tasks on its own, no human needed, but if still a human is needed, it will categorize it for you, no more running around in the hospitals.
That sounds great, thank you. Mr. Meyer, how can I help you?
I'm going to the vending machine.
Let me show you where it is.
No, thanks, the Care Campus already.
Oh, it did?
Yes,
nice.
Take a break, enjoy.
Working as a nurse is great, at least it is with Care Campus. Ever since we got Care Campus, I can actually take the time to take care of the patients. And that's the main reason I became a nurse in the first place. Care Campus, enabling nurses to actually take care of their patients.
Energy prices are very high. In the supermarkets, we are consuming more than 50% of the energy with our fridges. People are leaving the doors of the freezers constantly open.
How long do the fridges stay open?
I was wondering the same thing, and why we are spending so much money on electricity.
Do the fridges work properly?
But are we sure that these electricity bills are high because of the fridges?
And what is our carbon footprint?
What can we do to improve the situation?
But we could just use Freezy. I heard it's super easy to install. We monitor all of our refrigerators. It has great analytics, and we see at every time how much power we're consuming, what our carbon footprint is, how much energy we're saving, and even it will tell you when the seals are about to break.
That's exactly what we need. Let's contact them.
As a paramedic, every second counts. After every shift, we manually check our equipment, making sure nothing's missing for the next emergency. But with back-to-back calls, the pressure mounts. Imagine, in the rush of a shift change, amidst the chaos, vital equipment gets overlooked. And in a critical moment, that missing piece could mean the difference between life and death. That's where MediScanCheck changes the game. It's our reliable, tech-savvy partner in the ambulance. Using RFID technology, every item is scanned, accounted for, and displayed on a tablet. It shows us what's there, what's missing, and even what's nearing expiration. And with seamless integration into our systems, it's not just about saving time, it's about saving lives. With MediScanCheck, we're not just paramedics, we're heroes equipped for every call.
So I have to say your test results, they don't look great. You have a severe case of a cataract. We just need to make an anterior incision and cut towards the distal part of the cornea.
I'm sorry, can you explain it a bit more clearly?
Communication with patients is often challenging. A combination of medical jargon and crude drawings can lead to confusion and fear. We at Navicat came up with a solution that could help: the Orienter. The Orienter is a device that can be used to view complex 3D models from all sides. It is super intuitive to use, so patients and most importantly doctors can comfortably explore medical models. This allows them to better explain diagnoses and procedures while not overwhelming their patients. It can also improve the communication among medical professionals and be an interactive learning tool for students and trained doctors alike. Follow us on LinkedIn to stay up to date on our progress.
Networking events are full of opportunities, but how many meaningful connections do we actually make? In the chaos, valuable interactions are lost, and so is potential data. Just Connect changes that. With a simple handshake, contact information is exchanged instantly and stored for easy access. Just Connect, networking made easy. Our wristband is 3D modeled, printed, and tailored specifically to house all of the electronic components, bringing the magic of seamless connection into reality. By utilizing existing protocols, like BLE, we came up with a unique solution to tackle problems on multiple layers. After the handshake, you'll receive contact information about your colleague network. Make meaningful connections effortlessly. Here is our fun team behind this technology.
Last year, Robin was playing with his friend when suddenly he fell and hurt his knee super bad. After going to the physio, Robin was feeling extremely down and frustrated with the whole process. Just like Robin, 80% of patients say it was super hard to keep up with the exercises and couldn't finish them. The solution is Flexing, a wearable device designed to monitor muscle strength progress throughout all phases of recovery. Using EMG sensors, it tracks muscle activation and coordination, playing interactive games during exercises to make rehab more engaging, providing real-time feedback to patients. We enable a full recovery for our patients, boosting motivation and accountability. Flexing, accelerating your path to recovery.
Meet Derek, a driven young professional. He's at the beginning of his career and wants to prove himself at work. Due to the high workload, he doesn't want to be stressed out by everyday distractions. We take the burden off your shoulders with convenience and automation. Windflow, fresh air, fresh mind. Our smart home solution sends you a push notification when the CO2 level is too high. And it can open the window for you. It is retrofittable and fits on any window without drilling holes or any permanent damage. You won't need an expensive window replacement for our smart home product. The built-in sensors also measure the humidity and temperature. This enables us to advise you on when and how to ventilate your room to ensure your well-being through improved air quality. Oh no, he's forgotten that Lucas's birthday is in half an hour. Many of us forget all kinds of things whenever we are in a hurry, like closing a window. With Windflow, you never have to worry about leaving your window open again, whether due to haste or unforeseen circumstances like a sudden storm. That is a concern of the past. Meet us at the Demo Day on the 22nd of March.
Okay, so we will continue with the prototype fair. You see all the teams are leaving. You can go there soon. You see here the table where the teams are located. Please go around to every team, of course. You have 30 minutes to decide for who you want to vote with your dollars. The fair goes just a bit longer, so we can obviously count the dollars afterwards. But please be back at 4:30, so we can continue with the award ceremony.
We have 3 prizes tonight, as Maxi introduced you before. And today we will start with the Think prize. So this was where you could actually distribute your dollars among all teams. And we have a winner, but it's not on me to introduce the winner, but we have a wonderful jury here. So I'd like to invite Ali Steinhausen and Professor Preller on stage. So, thank you for having us, and actually that was the easiest prize for us because we didn't have to select it, but you did. And by that we also wanted to thank you for being a wonderful audience for all the teams. I think it's a really great audience that gives applause, stays on time, and is really curious to see what the teams develop. And as I guessed from walking around the fair, it was a hard choice, seeing dollars going to many different teams, but in the end there always has to be one winner, and the winner is Navicat. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Let's take a picture. Congratulations. Yes. Yes, we can do that. The thing like the, yeah. Okay. So this was our first prize. Thank you all very much for voting. And we'll continue with our second prize. So we have the Make prize coming up with Professor Zimmermann announcing the winner.
So we went through a very difficult process of choosing the winner of the Make prize, and well, according to us, we would love to have more of those prizes because you really did a fantastic job, and we had a very unerbittliches Team S team who stopped the discussion because it was really difficult to choose the team. We would have given you many more prizes, but well, we had to come up with one, and it is Windflow.
Come to the front to take the picture. Take a few steps forward. Thank you. So, last but not least, our start prize for the day. This is the team with the most business potential. So, we have Philip here to introduce the team.
Thank you. I'll try to show it the right way from the start. So, business potential. There were some teams who even got a letter of intent. There was a bunch of teams who made really good arguments for the size market that they could get. But in the end, what also counts is how quickly you can get into it and how likely it is that with your team, we believe that you can capture some of that market. And we think, as the judges, that Team Media-Scan Solutions should win this.
Okay. All right, let's try the trick from earlier. Think, make, start. Okay, still a lot of energy. I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap things up here. We like to extend a big thank you for the people who actually helped make this happen, from funding to giving us a great location to giving the students insights. And there's a big list of professors here that I'm going to go through with Professor Hoffmann, Professor Markus Zimmermann, who's here with us today, Professor Holger Passe from the TUM Entrepreneurship Research Institute, Professor Peter Meyer, my chair, who allowed me to come here, Professor Thomas Neumann, and Professor Jana Gicheva, as well as Professor Sami Haddadin, and the TUM Venture Labs for supporting us. And of course, what's not on the screen, but actually was incremental in helping make this batch happen, was the Hiwis, so the teaching assistants, as well as the coaches. So I want to actually have a big round of applause for them. They were the For the first time, I think, in the format, we also had 2 teaching assistants actually moderate both the midterm and the demo day. So I want a special round of applause for Maxi and Bianca. Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of people to thank beyond what's on the screen and on the stage, off the stage, that helped make this batch happen. But I think we cannot really think about the present without thinking about the past. When I took over Think.Make.Start as project lead in 2022, I was very privileged to be helped by 2 of the most helpful, organized, inspiring, just insert a lot of adjectives, of the people that I know. And I actually would like to welcome Max and Miguel on stage as the previous former project leads. Their journey at TUM and TMS is coming to an end, so we would like to commemorate this with a medal of honor that says "Thought Made Done." Yeah, and thank you so much for all you've done for the format. A big round of applause, please. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to. Unless you like to say something? Okay. We kind of sprung this on them, probably evidence, so they don't have to say anything.
So I hand over the microphone. No, Miguel doesn't really like. Is it on? Yeah, now it's on. So Miguel doesn't like to give speeches, so I have to talk. So thanks for giving us the award. It came out of nothing. Our journey at TUM is unfortunately coming to an end. We had a great time here, having Think.Make.Start since 2018, 17, 19. Yeah, so a bit longer ago. We'll stay true to doing workshops probably. So we'll stay in the business basically. So approach us if you want to have workshops outside of TUM. Just a bit of advertisement here, but in general, it was great working you here. Miguel, last words?
Thank you to all participants and all the coaches that supported the whole event, and also Marcus for allowing us to be here. Yeah, looking forward to the next batches.
All right, so if you liked what you've seen so far, we would like to ask you to join us again for batch 19. For students who want to participate, it is 2 weeks, 60 CTS, and you can apply online on our website until June 30th. It will take place between the 30th of August and the 13th of September. If you can't participate, you're still very, very welcome to come join us for the demo day for batch 19. And there will be another round of innovative products and fancy, funny pitches. And with that done out of the way, I would like to invite all the participants of this batch and the coaches on stage for a group picture to wrap up the day. For those who came to participate in the demo day, thank you so much for coming. We love having you. You're a great crowd. You were a really, really great crowd. And drive home safely. Thank you.